quiet of night, I whispered my plea, holding her close, hoping for her decree.
The first time I watched an Apsara dancer lift her golden headdress over her head, the whole room seemed to breathe with her. Silk whispered, metal caught the light, and for a moment, the past stepped forward in costume.
You're listening to Ancient Echoes. I'm Samnang Bradley, host and heritage storyteller. Today we go behind the curtain to meet the hands that make the costumes, the dyers, the gilders, the seamstresses who keep Apsara dress alive.
And I'm Sovan Lida, co-host and cultural curator. Over the next hour, we'll walk through workshops, listen to memory-rich voices, and unpack what these garments mean, artistically, culturally, and for visitors who want to engage respectfully.
Here's what to expect. A brief context corner, a long field story moving between 3 crafts workshops, a soundscape interlude, deeper artisan reflection, and practical tips for visiting and buying ethically. All sources and permissions are in the show notes.
Context corner. The Apsara figure has roots in Hindu-Buddhist iconography and Angorian reliefs, where stylized dancers appear on temple walls. The costume components we'll talk about: Sampat sarabap, pleated lower cloth, chomrun, ornamental belt, mokat-style crown, have layered meanings tied to court practice, ritual, and performance. We'll include scholarly references and photographs in the notes for anyone who wants to read deeper.
Let's start in the dye workshop. Imagine a low table, the smell of boiled sap and indigo, hands moving at a practiced rhythm. The dyer I met, an elder named Somali, stirred vats that looked like many black lakes, and she hums the same song as she checks colors.
We do not hurry color. Color remembers the cloth. When I dip the silk, I think of the river, how the shade settles slowly, and how a mother waits for her child to wake.
Her hands were stained a soft blue. She showed me a technique called chong kiet, resist dyeing, where small knots and waxed threads create floral motifs that move with the dancer. You can hear the silk as she tightens the thread. A tiny paper-like rustle that seems louder because it's done by someone who has practiced the same motion for decades.
Technique note: many historic motifs in Apsara costumes are derived from Angkor relief motifs, floral arabesques, lotus palmettes, and Naga-inspired borders. We've included comparative images and citations in the show notes for students and researchers.
Next, the headdress shop, a narrow, sunlit room where metal frames hang like silent constellations. The headdress maker, Mr. Dara, worked with tiny hammers to flatten gold leaf over carved brass petals.
People see the shine and think it is easy, but a crown listens. If you press too hard, it will sing the wrong note on stage. You must make it light and strong and quiet. We say krondea for the crown. It is crown and heart together.
He showed me the tiny teeth inside the crown that let it sit steady through a whole performance. He also spoke about ritual care. Before a crown is given to a dancer, it's brushed and blessed by the elder seamstress. I asked why. He smiled and said it's to remember where the piece came from and who will wear it next.
A quick cultural note. References to blessing and care are about respect. Ritual behaviors vary by community, and we encourage listeners to ask workshop hosts about local customs before photographing or touching sacred items.
Finally, the wardrobe room of the dance troupe. Rows of finished costumes, each pleat folded like a secret. The seamstress, Mrs. Phuong, has the kind of hands that know where a stitch will hold or split. She taught apprentices how to finish hems so they don't snag under stage lights.
When a dancer turns, the cloth sings. If the seam is strong, the dancer can forget the dress and remember the story. We teach with stories. My teacher told me stories about the Apsara who lost her earring and stayed dancing until she found it.
Those stories are instructive and playful. They carry technique and patience. Across these three spaces, dye, metal, stitch, apprenticeship is slow. It's shared over tea, over corrections, over the repetition of a single stitch until muscle remembers it.
Soundscape interlude. Listen now. A montage. Scissors against cloth, the rasp of a metal file, a soft thud at a hammer, spool to spool. And beneath them, a low rehearsal track of an Apsara sequence at half volume. Let the sounds place you in the room.
Ambient montage continues softly under voice for about 90 seconds.
Artisan reflection, technique, and conservation. These crafts live in tension. Costumes must be visually striking on stage, but many original materials and techniques are fragile. Conservators use stitch-by-stitch documentation and reversible adhesives to preserve historic pieces, while makers adapt materials for durability when the costume is intended for frequent performance.
We learned from our mothers, who learned from their mothers. But now, sometimes we use new threads, so the show can travel. That does not mean we forget the old ways, only that we learn to balance them.
Language moment. You'll hear a few Khmer words on this episode. Samput, lower cloth, krondea, crown, chok, thread, and boran, ancient. I'll translate where they appear, and the show notes include phonetics for anyone trying to learn pronunciation respectfully.
Apprenticeship paths are changing. Schools teach technique formally now, and NGOs sometimes fund training programs. That can mean more consistent incomes for makers, but it also raises questions about authenticity, market pressure, and protecting intellectual traditions. The layers matter: economic, cultural, and artistic.
Practical takeaway and travel tips. If you visit a workshop, ask first. Request permission before recording or photographing. Offer to buy tea or a small purchase rather than insisting on a free demonstration. And ask how proceeds support apprentices. A few respectful questions. How is this made? Who taught you? Is this meant for performance or conservation?
What to photograph? Wide shots that show place and context. Detail shots with permission, but avoid close-ups of hands without asking. They may be considered private work. If you plan to buy, request receipts and ask about materials and repair options so your purchase sustains the maker long-term. If you buy our work, please tell your friends the story of who made it. That helps keep the work alive more than anything else.
Before we close, a quick note on permissions. Any musical or rehearsal audio you heard today was recorded with permission and credited in the show notes. If you use traditional music in your work, please follow the same process. Ask, document, and credit. The next time you see an Apsara on stage, remember the team behind the shimmer. The dyer who coaxed shade into silk, the gilder who shaped a crown to sit like a small constellation, the seamstress who stitched a story into every seam. The costume lets a dancer move through history while creating new meaning in the present.
If you enjoyed this episode, check the show notes for images, citations, and a list of workshops that have agreed to ethical visits and purchases. We've also included phonetic guides for the Khmer terms we used.
Subscribe to Ancient Echoes to keep receiving stories like this. Ancient stones, modern stories, warm welcomes. Quiet stones, loud stories. From the makers to the dancers. Thank you for listening. Credits and permissions in the notes.
Oh, shining diamond, flawless and red, you stand so quiet, soft in the air. I dared not to rush, you feared you'd flee. Your heart too pure to belong to me. If you turn away, I reach and bind, press my hand, still body and mind. Your brows I trace, your breath I steal. This mark I place is dark and real. From this moment break and fall, hear the spell, obey the call. False love born from sacred lies, second one whispers through closed eyes. Follow me, don't fight, don't run, your soul is caught, my work is done. Empty will your light undone, under spell, under Sigmund. Crystal beauty, diamond bright, caught between shadow, charm and night. Time won't save you, truth won't last. This vow is carved, the line is cast. My words are smoke, my touch is fire. I bend your heart to dark desire.